I feel like I want to say long time no see, but ain't no telling what video gonna come up before this. So just hey, it's event day. I just got to storage. Let me make sure the music is not playing. It's October and it's Halloween party season. Halloween party time. Trying to do some last minute computer stuff that I'm just remembering. This video is, as the title says, most frequently asked questions. The top 5 most frequently asked questions. I guess they're the top. I don't really know, but they're questions that I see consistently, I guess, more than others, which makes them most frequently asked questions. Or the top most frequently asked questions. Don't mind me. I'm having a morning. It's 11 a.m. I woke up at 4, did what I needed to do, then went back to sleep, had like a mid-morning nap. But yeah, like I said, it's event day. We're doing a Halloween party. This particular party I've done for the past, I want to say it's been 4 years. She reminded me that she hired for her friends, like something for her friend. I forget. But then from there, I've been helping her with her her Halloween parties. For me, it's same old same. I haven't shown this particular party before. It's usually a vibe. It's husband and wife, and they like just go all out for their Halloween parties every single year. Tonight, it's gonna be myself and Amani. I'm gonna be bartending, even though I don't really like to bartend. Some of you may know that it's been a very tricky time trying to find just reliable help. We're expecting or planned for 70 guests. We're doing let me see. I think it's 4 hours of service, or is it 5 hours of service? 7:30 to 11:30. So yeah, I feel like we do it the same time every year. 7:30 to 11:30. So 4 hours of service, providing everything minus the booze. So they're providing the alcohol. They're actually doing one signature cocktail and then simple options like vodka soda, gin and tonic, stuff like that. And their house is like they have a built-in bar in their house. So they have Dos Equis and Truly this year on tap. And then they have just like an abundance of alcohol on their back bar, but they also buy specifically for the party. They're going to buy the hard liquor and the wine for the party, and then Dos Equis and the Truly are just going to be on tap. Bringing glassware today. What else am I bringing? Just the same old stuff. I don't have to bring a setup because, like I said, they have a bar built in. It'll be in their basement. I am trying to answer you guys' questions, continue to give y'all the mobile bartending content as much as humanly possible for me. It's been rather intense on my side of the fence for honestly the past year. I've been just trying to figure out what I'm doing next, being honestly afraid of making the next move because I'm like, well, I wasted so much time mobile bartending when I really didn't even like it, and I don't want to put my time, energy, and effort into a new business only to turn around and find that I don't really like it. But it's me just going through all of these processes and realizing and remembering, that it wasn't for nothing, and that, I took a lot from the mobile bartending thing, and, all of these different things that I'm just, working through and going through. So I just say that to say, like, I have not forgotten and I'm not going to stop. However, my intention is to, I hope this is not rattling. I'm just realizing that the car might be rattling and making the camera like shake. So I just turned the car off. But what was I about to say? Basically, I'm wanting to put out as much mobile bartending content for you guys to help you guys wherever you are, and have it done by the end of 2024. My plan is to be done with it. Not fully, and I've seesawed with this for quite some time, for the past year, since realizing that I don't like mobile bartending. Bartending is not for me. Mobile bartending in general is not going to get me where I ultimately want to go in life. It's not going to help me fully achieve and succeed at the goals that I have for myself in my life. So yeah, with that, some of you may have already noticed, those that have been following for a while, the name of the channel has changed. It's no longer Milk and Honey TV. I started this to promote Milk and Honey, my mobile bartending business, Milk and Honey Bartending, to clients and blah, 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 blah. I've gone through the whole story. I'll link the other videos that explains more. But since my realization or awakening, so to speak. Make a long story short, I've changed the name to Brittany Ave. It just made more sense to what I'm doing or what I'm wanting to do. And ultimately, it's just me and my life, like my entrepreneurial journey, just where I'm going next, my life as a single mom, and trying to balance them both while healing from childhood traumas and just my overall perspective as it really just pertains to life. I mean, I don't really have a formal explanation of it. I'm just giving y'all the best that I got at this moment in time. Just creating your own way. That's my focus, and that's what I've always pretty much been about. I've always been the type of person that just marches to the beat of her own drum. I kind of do my own thing. I'm not much of a conformist, if is conformist a word? I don't conform much. So Brittany Ave, my lane, my way. So that's really, what this is all about. So some of you guys have already expressed you want to continue to watch, where I go next, even though I'm not doing mobile bartending anymore. But real quick though, I saw with this throughout my figuring it out process, I ended up deciding like I'm just not going to do mobile bartending at all, period. But I struggled with that decision because there are people that really do depend on me, and not that I'm obligated to show up for anybody, but there's also a part of me too that enjoys helping certain people. So with that, I decided that it's really just going to be a side hustle. And I feel like I mentioned this before, but for those that have missed it, for me, mobile bartending is a cute side hustle. It's good for what it's good for, but it's not going to get, like I said, it's not going to get me to where I'm ultimately wanting to go in life. Not on its own. It has to be under the umbrella of things that I'm doing. I can't just choose this one thing. Yeah, so with that, Milk and Honey, it's just going to be a side hustle. I'm not putting a whole lot of effort and energy into it. I have done a few other things that I'm going to share in a different video. I don't want to take up too much time. I really do want to focus on just answering a lot of you guys' questions. I'm just going to give y'all surface level information as best as I can while like dissecting it a little bit. In no particular order, I'm going to answer the top 5 most frequently asked questions. Since we're here, since I'm at storage, it's making me think of the one question or comment, and they were asking me, wouldn't it be easier or less expensive if I get a bigger place as opposed to having separate storage unit and then, my apartment. This is something that I thought through long ago. I considered getting a bigger place and just not having a storage unit. However, it doesn't really work for me just because, one, it's not, to answer that question directly, no, it's not cheaper. And this is with consideration to the area that I live in. My rent is $2,100, and that's honestly for a 1-bedroom apartment. It's me and my son. I considered getting a 2-bedroom, but it was an additional $500. And for me, and the way that I'm trying to maximize my tax deductions, it didn't make sense for me to spend an extra $500 for something that I can't write off. That's just how I felt about it. So I opted to not do the additional bedroom. What I chose to do instead is to, do the 1-bedroom, give the bedroom to my son. He has his own space for, his bed, his toys, and all of that stuff. And then for me, the general space, in my mind, it's just no different than a studio space. Instead of me having a bed, what I did instead was I got a sleeper sofa. And then, we have the sofa during the day, and then when I go to bed at night, I just let out the sleeper sofa and then I sleep there. And then the rest of the common area space is specifically Milk and Honey space, mobile bartending space. I had my home office space set up, and then y'all saw where I had like the shelving with all of my mobile bar equipment or my mixing tools and stuff like that. So all of like the smaller things are in the apartment, and then the larger things like the coolers, the portable bars, beverage tub, glassware, that type of stuff I keep in storage. Yes, it's cheaper for me to do it that way. It's a little more work and a bit more effort, but like even with the portable bars, like those things are heavy. They are not lightweight. But I'm not going to get too much into the portable bars because I'm going to answer that question later, just because it's more to it than that. But just to respond to that comment, yeah, no, for me, it doesn't make sense to do that. Ideally, I would like to have the type of space to where I can have just everything under one house. I have not been able to, I don't know, come across anything like that as of yet, especially with consideration to the location in which I desire to be in. And this is not just for me. Being in a certain area for my son to go to school is important to me. That's a priority to me. A bunch of other factors that I'm really just not about to get into. But so yeah, no, it's not easier for me or cheaper, less expensive for me to have storage, for me to not have the storage, and for me to get a bigger place and to not have the storage. Got to maintain the storage unit. That's not going to be one of the 5. I just wanted to answer that since I was here. But question number 1, how do I rinse my cocktail shakers? I honestly get surprised by this question because it's usually under a video where, I feel like it's under the same video, the table setup video. And I'm confused by the question because I'm like, I remember saying that we were right there by the kitchen. Like, we're right there by the house. Like, we're at the house and we're right there by the kitchen. We just use the kitchen sink. Like, if I have to rinse at all. Like, I don't know, like, if y'all are just like not watching the full video, if y'all are like passively watching it, just not paying attention, or I don't know. But some of the questions are kind of like weird to me because I'm like, I feel like maybe it's not common sense. And I got to be careful with that too, because things that are common to others aren't necessarily common to me. I make mistakes and I ask considerably stupid questions all the time. Not to say that it's a stupid question, but I'm kind of like, so I mean, we just use the kitchen sink. The clients that we serve and help, like, they're pretty hospitable. They're pretty warm and welcoming. So they're, open to us using their kitchen if we need to. But know this, I am not messy and nasty. Like, I'm not just going to people's houses and making a mess and just doing whatever. Like, I'm very mindful of people's space. I'm very mindful of my space, and I'm very considerate of how I move about in other people's spaces. So if you're not that type of person, the likelihood of somebody wanting you to use their kitchen are less likely. So, I mean, I can't necessarily say that it'll work for everybody, but I feel like most people that are hiring mobile bartenders, at least from my experience, they're open and welcome to us at least, using their space. When it comes to us using the kitchen or needing to rinse out the shakers, it really is on a as-need basis, because ultimately what I do is bring extra shakers. You may or may not have noticed in the videos where I have like multiple shakers. Usually we're doing 3 signature cocktails at each party. I just simply bring enough shakers for each signature cocktail per bartender providing service. So if there's 1 bartender and we're doing 3 signature cocktails, I'll have 3 different shakers. So each shaker is designated to those 3 signature cocktails. There's 2 bartenders, then each bartender has their set of 3 for the 3 signature cocktails. And if you're wondering, well, what happens when somebody wants to have a cocktail outside of the signatures? Well, the way that we provide service, it's honestly not likely that we're going to need a shaker outside of the signatures. So usually what we do is we have 3 signature cocktails, and then we have the simple options: vodka soda, gin and tonic, bourbon and cola, stuff like that. Tonic, ginger beer, cola, all of those things, tonic, they're carbonated. We're not shaking that stuff. It's just pour into the glass over ice and serve it. That's it. Any event though that we do need to any event that we do need to rinse though, like I said, we use the kitchen sink. Well, Brittany, what happens if you don't have access to running water? That has happened before. I simply use I guess you can call it like a water bottle method. I don't really know what to call it, but basically I have designated water bottles. Really, I find that we don't need any more than 2, usually, if we have to. Designated water bottles, pour into the shaker, seal the shaker, shake it up, dump the water out, and then you rinse that way. There have been times, I'm really thinking of this one time when we did a wedding, and the venue, or the workers at the venue, I feel like it was the servers, I don't remember, but anyway, the people at the venue, they were acting funny about us using their kitchen. They didn't want us to use it, like, at all. Luckily, I couldn't foresee this, but something in me just told me to bring extra bins, like extra bus tubs. Either way, they were acting funny about us using the kitchen, didn't want us to use the kitchen. This was I want to say maybe like 100-person wedding. That's probably an exaggeration, maybe like 70. But it was a large wedding. It was a medium-sized wedding. We were serving outside, built-in bar. There were 3 of us. We had the glassware, which is why I needed to have access to the running water in the kitchen sink. They were acting funny about the sink. There was this, like, you know, the thing that you put the water hose to? I don't know what you call it. I guess the spigot or I don't know. But the thing that you put the water hose, you attach the water hose to outside, they had one of those. So what we did was we used the extra bins that we had and then just did we just made like different like buckets. If you ever worked at a bar, like sometimes you gotta hand wash glassware. I'm trying to hurry up and explain this because I need to go. I've been sitting here for 30 minutes having this conversation with y'all. I just filled up 1 bucket of fresh water, 1 bucket of soapy water, and then another bucket of fresh water. Oh, no. I didn't even do 3. I did 2. I did 1 bucket of soapy water and I did 1 bucket of fresh water. So we put the dirty glassware, we dumped out, any leftover residual drinks or whatever. We just dumped it out in an empty bin. Then we used the soapy water to wash, and then we used the clean fresh water to rinse. And we just did it that way. So that's another way that you can like rinse shakers if necessary, or you're trying to provide glassware, you can do it that way too. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the 2 options. I mean, technically there are 3. In terms of not having access to running water, that was honestly in the beginning when the service rates weren't as expensive as they are now. The parties that we service for the most part are pretty, I don't know, we just have access to the things that we need to have access to. Oh, it also comes down to preparing ahead, and this is with consideration to the glassware. But I communicate with the client beforehand. Hey, are we gonna have access to running water? This is something that I learned to just ask up front to allow myself to properly prepare. If we don't have access to running water, I'll know what to do beforehand. If we do have access to running water, I know what to do beforehand, or I know what I, have available to me. Sometimes I'll have an extra shaker set just in case. Sometimes we'll need to rinse the shaker if somebody requests a mocktail option. I just want to rinse out that alcohol. But yeah, for the most part, that's my general practice. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm trying to make sure I go tell y'all enough. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question. Try to be as thorough as possible without taking up too much time. But let me go get this stuff out of storage. I already got Crease car seat out. Cheerios everywhere. Anyway, let me tend to my day. This crew loves like vodka soda, tequila soda. So we'll probably go through this whole case. Almost fully loaded. I still gotta get the other stuff, shakers and whatnot. I'm trying to think of how I want to play it because I'm realizing I feel like I might have left it at the last event that we did, which is a wedding in Mossy Creek. I had left my 6-foot table by accident in the midst of chaos. I feel like I might have forgotten my primer. Do I really want to stop for primer? I know I gotta stop for batteries, but the primer that I've been using, they don't carry at Target. I need batteries for the label maker to label the bottles. What was I doing? Oh, it was an email that popped up. And I was like, oh, it's Heidi, the client for tonight. We're super excited for tonight. Just wanted to give you our final head count. We have 86 RSVPs. I just wanted to let you know for how much glassware, etc. to bring. I know we have 2 of your cups from last year as well. Oh, great. So here's the thing. I have 75 pieces of glassware. I feel like I'm gonna have to go back upstairs and just get another rack. Because the last thing I want to do is run out of glassware. So I'm about to go run upstairs, get another rack, and then I always do both, even when providing glassware, the shatterproof option. And I do this because when we go to pack up, specifically for like this type of party. Some party, it depends on the party. With weddings, not so much, but with house parties in particular, especially me knowing this particular group and the hostess for this party, they continue to party after last call. Like it starts really turning up like after last call. After 11:30, they're still going strong. So I like to have the shatterproof option to leave them with when we go to pack up. I take the glassware back, I give them the disposable option, the shatterproof option to keep, because they usually don't have cups. I mean, I guess that's something I could tell them, but. So I leave these behind. Typically, if I provide the shatterproof option without the glassware, I will reuse the glassware on site. I mean, the shatterproof option. I will reuse the shatterproof option on site. If they still party, then they just keep whatever we're not using, but I take as much as I possibly can, I take them back. These cups are expensive. They're $1 a cup. So yeah, let me run back upstairs real quick and get another rack, and then I guess I'm gonna go to Target. Out here in these streets looking foul. Be trying not to wear my scarf in public, try to hide it, because it's just not the vibe for me. It's kind of coming off. The lady at the storage, she was like, oh, you straightened your hair? I was like, yeah, I got my scarf on because I'm trying to not mess it up. Let it go poof. Back to the poof while I'm moving and hauling all this stuff. Shake her head like, yeah, girl, I already know. Her hair is natural too, naturally curly. Got batteries. And I got sponges for my Halloween makeup. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do it, but I have a skeleton costume. It's just really like a bodysuit that I'm gonna wear. I'm gonna do something that was simple, something I can continue to wear, because I have I have 2 more Halloween parties, and then just a regular OMG. Okay, so I just got to Heidi and Nick's house. They finished decorating already. It looks like they got some like finishing touches type stuff to do, but it's already looking so good in there. This year they hired staff. Normally it's just us, like in terms of staff, normally it's just a bar. They got a guy in a It costume. There's another girl there that I think they might be paid actors. I'm not sure, but they're like getting makeup done. She has like a makeup artist in there. It's so cute. Yeah, I already went downstairs just to see what was what. They have the alcohol down there. They bought extra juices just in case. I'm gonna go ahead and unload all of this stuff. Amani, she said she's gonna leave at 5:15. It took me about an hour to get here. Saturday Atlanta traffic, honestly. Okay, I've already made 2 trips down the stairs. Let's see how many more I gotta make. And for those wondering, no, there is not an easier way. Downstairs. I already started like setting up, but I feel like I've shown y'all plenty of setups. I don't need to show y'all another one. I'll just show it when I'm done. OMG, I'm burning up. So calm down. I have water. Every setup is different. As much as I try to prepare to make things easy on myself, granted, I should just have an extra person helping me move and haul this stuff. However, other people kind of interrupt and distract me from my setup process. Now with this one in particular, I've done it so many times, it's not, a huge deal, and I probably should have had Amani just meet me earlier, but it'll be fine. I mean, the work is done now. She'll be here to help me bring everything back up the stairs at the end, so it'll be fine. This is one of those things too, when people are saying that they're charging $500 for a party, I mean, granted, it does depend on the number of guests, but I don't see how anybody can make this work with that little bit of money. The income to work ratio. Woo, child. I'll check back in a bit. I just pulled up to the store to grab the ice. The bar is set up. Some of the video that I got just does not do decorations justice. It's so cool downstairs. I can't wait to show y'all what Nick looks like. He looks absolutely insane. He's Mrs. Doubtfire. The wig and everything is so perfect. I'm trying to find, I hope I have it with me. I mean, I washed my hands already, but I just have to settle for some hand sanitizer. I don't have my sanitizer wipes. I'm gonna do makeup now. I have about an hour before the party starts. So I'll sit in the car, talk to y'all while I do something to my face. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna see. I've already washed my face and stuff and moisturized and all of that. I don't have any primer. It's gonna be what it is. It's just a Halloween, so it's not that deep. But anyway, question number 2. I feel like it took me forever to get to question number 2. Do you need a liquor license? The short answer, no. You do not need a license to be a mobile bartender or to mobile bartend or to start a mobile bartending business, to manage a mobile bartending business, to have a mobile bartending business. You only need a liquor license for the sale of alcohol, for-profit sales. I'm gonna actually do, I guess, foundation today. I haven't used this in ages, so hopefully it's still, I don't know why I'm smelling it. Hopefully it's still good though. I'm using these cheap sponges I got from Target. I just didn't want to use my regular sponge. I don't know how this is going to turn out. We're going to see. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. For-profit sales. Only if you're doing for-profit sales do you need a liquor license or an alcohol license. Meaning you're buying the alcohol, whether it be wholesale or from the liquor store, and then turning around and reselling it for a profit. And then the requirements for that just vary based on city, town, county, state. Most mobile bartending businesses are what's called a dry hire, meaning they provide everything minus the alcohol. I don't know if I got lighter or what, but this is a lot darker than I remember it being. I haven't worn this color in ages. Yeah, so most mobile bartending businesses don't provide the alcohol. They're dry hires. The client who's having the party is the one providing the alcohol. We are hired, or at least for my business, I'm hired to plan, manage, mix, serve. There are essentially special skills that bartenders have in knowing how to mix drinks and all of that. But like with me, I do take it a step further and help them with the whole planning and management process. But I'm not gonna get into that. To stay on topic, that's it. I don't really know any other way to say it. It's private property. They're literally hiring as a service provider. I mean, it's really that simple. I mean, in past videos, you may have heard me say, they asked me to provide the alcohol as well. That's a bit misleading. What I actually mean is that they're asking me to, provide it, but not really. That's just the language I use to make it more comprehensible, easy to, I guess, understand in a sense, in order to sell the service, so to speak. But basically, what I do is I just pick it up for them. I'm not buying alcohol and then reselling it for a higher price or a wholesale price or anything along those lines. I'm not doing that. I'm merely assisting them with the management of it. They choose what they want. I help them decide on what would be best in terms of quantity. A lot of times they'll ask me, what's the best brands to get? Where's my concealer? Yeah, so it's merely just an additional service option. I'm not providing, I'm not selling alcohol. Like, I'm just not doing that. So in any event that they ask me, hey, Brittany, can you provide the alcohol? I'm just picking it up for them. That's it. I simply charge a service fee for managing the task. So if you're looking for a way to maximize or increase sales with your events, like you can add on what I call is personal shopper assistance. Yes and no. I don't know if this is totally okay or not, so don't quote me, but I live in Atlanta, so things here can be different than wherever you are. So in some cases that might not be allowed to where you can pick up alcohol for somebody else. However, the way that I see it, is me and a private client. It's not like I'm providing alcohol for a public event or anything like that. Like, it's for people, a very specific group that I'm working with, to where I help them manage this task. I'm not like helping them get alcohol to resell for a public event or anything like that. Like, that's just not what's happening. I do not do cash for profit sales. There have been times where clients will try to hire and want to do cash bar sales, and they'll try to hire a bartending service to get around having to have a permit, because you have to have a permit in order to do cash bar sales, whether that's for a single event or if you're doing like an ongoing. Well, I know it's just for a single event. I'm not trying to get too in depth into it, just because it differs just depending on where you are. But for like single events, for example, here in Atlanta, you have to have a permit. You have to have a special events permit. And for me, I consider going that route, making that an add-on option, an available option for people. But I honestly did not feel like the headache. I really don't. For me, I personally opt out of doing all of that. But I know some mobile bartending businesses that literally specialize in providing, special event permit like services, helping people, obtain those permits. But for me, it's just not worth the time, energy, effort. But someone in particular did ask, like, is it worth it to do all of that? I mean, that just depends. You have to have a brick and mortar to get a liquor license, a separate brick and mortar. It's not like you can have it for your home address. And then when it comes to like just starting out, I don't know what other people are doing in terms of really just making ends meet, being able to pay for a brick and mortar, being able to pay rent and all of these other bills with a mobile bartending business. I do know a lot of what I haven't done does stem down from the fact that I don't have a reliable team. People that, have brick and mortars and have liquor licensing and all of that stuff, like they have a team full of people that help them manage that stuff. I don't have that. It's literally what I said earlier, a cute little side hustle. I mean, it has been my full-time job, and it's cool for, what it has been. But as far as I can see, I could be wrong, but it's a full-on commitment to do that. Like, it just makes me think of like running a restaurant without a team. Like, you need a team, period. I don't know what I want to do like with the rest of my face. Question number 3. Most frequently asked question number 3. All right, now how do I want to do this? Do I even have? I got this dark color, so I'm gonna have to make this work. This one little dark color I have on this palette. Ooh, I got 30 minutes. Oh my god. How much do I make? I thought this was a very interesting question, considering my first thought was like, that's none of your business. Like, what? But then I reconsidered that maybe they're asking not to like be nosy or be like, I don't know, rude, but merely to figure out like, is mobile bartending worth it? Is it worth it to be a mobile bartender in comparison to, just working a brick and mortar? I don't think I need to like be messy with this. This is Halloween makeup. Basically, like, is mobile bartending worth it in comparison to just working a regular bar job? And like I always say with everything else, it depends. Because it's pretty much a hit or miss with both, in terms of tips at least, and even in terms of just like operating a business itself. There's no way to predict when I'm gonna get business. I can predict the busy months and the slow months, but I cannot predict like what day of the week I'm gonna get booked. I can't say like, oh, every Saturday is gonna get booked. Like, that's, I can have intention behind it and that can be my goal, but sometimes things don't always go according to plan. For me, at least. I mean, maybe somebody knows something that I don't know, but there's just no way for me to really gauge that. I can literally just get a booking out of nowhere for a Tuesday, and I'm like, well, where did this come from? You just never know. But in terms of like the tips, it's the same with working a regular bar job. You just, like I said, you just never know. It really just depends on the client, the event, number of guests. I've been tipped $5. I've been tipped $700. It depends. When it comes to mobile bartending though, it all, again, depends on how much work you're wanting to do. To show up and make drinks, it could be an easy, like, just pocket your cash sort of thing. And that's if you make it a legit business or not. That's one thing that I've noticed. A lot of bartenders are just, it's not a business. Like, they probably work a regular bar job, or they work a regular job somewhere and they just mobile bartend on the side, just private parties. They're not investing money and just all the business stuff that comes with it. Like, I mean, that I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just winging it. I need to hurry up though, because this party's about to start. When it comes to operating a mobile bartending business, in terms of the money, like for me, the juice isn't always worth the squeeze. There are times where, like I said, where a client will give a $700 tip, which has totally happened. She tipped $700. It was just the two of us. And we bartended like a family, like just day party. It wasn't a whole lot of work, you know. And then there's some parties where we do a whole lot of everything and, you know, there are no tips. It's really tricky to gauge. But what I can say is the way that I've been doing it is that I've been able to, you know, maintain my everyday expenses. I've been able to, you know, provide for me and my son single-handedly for the most part, pay bills, stuff like that. But if you want something more than that, I don't know. That's what I've been struggling with, is wanting more than what mobile bartending can seem to give. I guess in terms of like really what I'm willing to do with it too. Like it's a lot of hard work and all this moving and hauling, like in the cold and all of that. Like I'm good off that. Personally, I need to be able to do multiple events in a day. I can't just do these single events and, you know, that be that. I need to be able to maximize my days. But with that, you need, like I said, reliable help. And with everything that I'm doing, it's so particular. Can't just have anybody, you know, helping me with stuff. I don't know what to make of this makeup, child, but this is just what it's gonna be. I don't know. Please say I have some lip liner or eyeliner. Yeah. I have shared some insight on, you know, how much I charge for these events. This is not working. I need something else. Oh yeah, is this it? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I've shared some insight on how much I charge for these events, but even with the with my pricing structure, that even changes from time to time because I'm constantly trying to keep up with the increase of expenses. The work to income ratio for most people, from what I'm seeing, is just not, it just ain't really worth what people think it is. I guess it would have been helpful to have a reference photo. I am beat. It is 1:15 a.m. It took us a full hour to clean up and get out the door. That's usually, that's usually the case with that particular party. It's always just a lot going on when it's time for us to close up. Can't wait to wash my face. But the party went well. I tried to get some footage of the party. It was just hard to do because I ended up taking longer than I expected to get back, like with the ice and stuff. Once I got back, I had to quickly change and get straight to work. I do want to just go ahead and answer the last two most frequently asked questions. On the way back, I realized that Amani and we did not count and split the cash tip. I just realized it halfway here and I'm just like, oh no. Which honestly brings me to the fourth most frequently asked question. Do I include gratuity into the service charge when I charge the client for service? At this moment in time is no. I think it's something that I'm gonna maintain. I've seesawed with this over the years where I didn't have gratuity included, and then I added gratuity, and then I took it off, then I added it again, then I took it off. Mainly with the adding of gratuity, it's pros and cons to both, but mainly with the adding of the gratuity, that's really just to ensure that bartenders are getting what they deserve in terms of pay. Because like with tips and regarding like how much I make, you just never know how much you're gonna make. With that, I used to have the gratuity included into the service charge. However, and I've mentioned this before in previous videos, that having the gratuity included in service, at least with the bartenders that I was working with at the time, they had this sense of entitlement. I feel like it might have had something to do with the gratuity being automatic or included, them not having to necessarily work for the tip or tips. And then honestly too, I realized like in some cases, really a lot of cases, we end up getting tipped more than what the gratuity would have been, just depending on the event or whatever. And then also too, some people are honestly turned off when gratuity is included in the service charge. So basically what I do is I charge enough to make sure that I can pay bartenders a fair minimum wage. My perspective, as someone who used to be a bartender making, $2.13 an hour plus tip, essentially working for free. As a former bartender, I believe a fair minimum wage is $20 an hour. It's really just based on perspective, honestly, and that rate is still based on the dependency of tips. It's not like rolling in dough and you're able to make ends meet making $20 an hour. Like, that's just not realistic, honestly. But it is with consideration to tips. However, it is, I believe, fair enough, or just fair enough to where if the bartender doesn't make any tip money or little to no tip money, then it's like, okay, well, I'm making $20 an hour just to show up and make some drinks for like 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever. So no, gratuity, I do not add gratuity to service charges. I would have included that in the how much does mobile bartending cost video when I break down my pricing structure. Fast forward to at this moment in time, my pricing structure has changed again, and it's because things are always changing. I'm trying to find the best common ground to accommodate as many people as I can while also maintaining my own value. So, it's been tricky, and with consideration to the fact that my operational costs keep changing as well. So I think, knock on wood, I think right now it's at a decent rate, but because I'm not doing it as a full-time job moving forward, I guess it's really just not that deep anymore to me as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, we'll see. And then last but not least, the 5th most frequently asked question, which really would probably be the first, like it's probably the top most frequently asked question. It's links for my mobile bars and mobile bartending equipment. Where did you get that? I'm always being asked this question. Brittany, where did you get that? Where did you get your portable bar? Where did you get the silver, the silver bins that I put the beer and wine in? When it comes to those bars, my 6-foot portable bar, my 3-foot portable bars, I have reached out to both companies that I've bought those bars from. Long story short, I am not selling other people's stuff for free. There's a lot of work that's involved for me with, doing these videos and just everything under the Brittany umbrella. I'm not going to say, hey, go buy these bars, or this is where I get my bars from. Send these people all this business, especially after I've already reached out to both of them and they want to act like they essentially don't have any money. And I'm just like, okay, well, no offense, but I don't work for free, and there's no incentive for me to be telling y'all like where I get the bars from. But if you really want to know like where I get the portable bars from, along with everything else, the link is in the description. I'm so tired. I'm trying to talk, but I'm so tired. I just cannot. I just want to lay down. Yeah, I mean, there's a full list. There's a full like downloadable PDF. If you just click the link in the description, you'll be redirected to milkandhoneybartending.com, where you can download the PDF. It includes the portable bars, glassware, everything that I use for my mobile bartending business. It has clickable links. Anyway, I am beyond tired. I did not expect for this video to go like this. But anyway, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.